other than having a positive attitude and believing in yourself. This is huge. I can see by the look of all the fresh faces in here that I'm probably the oldest one by a big margin. And so this is something that's really important, because I think a lot of times, especially when you're speaking for others, you have a tendency to doubt who you are and what you can do. And you should always have that positive attitude within you and that belief in yourself. So I can give you a little background on me and why I think this way. First, I have to thank my parents who allowed me to be a positive thinker, because that's probably the one thing that is going to be the most valuable to you as you not only go through life, but as you speak in front of others. So I have to say that I did not become a professional musician until I was 34 years old. So I've been playing a long time. And I didn't start on the instrument I play now. I started on piano when I was just a child, and got interested in guitar in high school, and got together with a few ladies that I knew at various bluegrass festivals that I attended, and we all started singing together and realized we had a really good vocal harmony blend, which you wouldn't know now because my allergies are like, but we're having a great time. In bluegrass music, it's predominantly a male-dominated industry, but no longer. We were one of the first all-female bluegrass bands in the United States. There were others before us, but not many. And so it was really kind of not only groundbreaking, but we had comments that were pretty negative when we would compete in competitions. Like, well, you know, I wouldn't let my wife play like that, or stuff like that. So if you don't have a positive attitude and really believe in what you can do and who you are, that would be enough to send most people packing. But we didn't give up, and we ended up winning the Northeastern United States Pizza Hut Bluegrass Championship, to the surprise of many all-male bands. But it was really a highlight for me. And at that time, I had just, when I was playing with that band, I had just given birth to my second child. He was only 6 weeks old when we started playing. And so now they're all adults. They've grown up, and they're on their own. And so Mom is out on her own too, and I'm enjoying my time. But these things are really important, because if somebody tries to hold you back from something that's really important to you, don't let them. Just keep that positive attitude and the belief in yourself that this is something you can do. We knew we could do this, and one of the things that I'll never forget, our banjo player Susie said when we won the competition was, "Can you believe this? We're girls." So we were really excited when all of that happened. We got a chance to go down to Nashville and to Owensboro to compete in the international finals, which we took 3rd place in, which was no small feat at that point in time for anybody, let alone a band of girls. So that was the beginning for me of playing bluegrass music professionally. But there's so much more to all of us, I think, and the things that we want to do and things we would like to do, and how we would like to become the best people that we can be. And that's where that positive attitude comes in. You have the positive attitude, you're really unstoppable. Pick things that you've always wanted to do. I was 34 years old. I always wanted to play bluegrass music because I really enjoyed it. But I had never really played it until then. So age is not a barrier to being able to succeed in something that you want to do. I'm also a hiker, and I hike a lot of very big mountains. And so, you know, I'll even have my kids say to me, "Mom, are you sure at your age you ought to be hiking that mountain?" So I had them come with me, and I left them in the dust. So, you know, it was a good thing for them to see that their mom was being able to do something that they were actually struggling with, and they were 20 some years younger than she was. So, you know, there's just a lot of things like that, that had I said, oh, you know, maybe I'm too old for that, you know, I have children, and am I going to be able to do this? There's so many negative things that you can feed into your brain to keep you from being the best you can be and doing the things you want to do in your life. So for me, this is huge. I'm going to be 62 years old this July, and to me, I've only just begun. So if you look at it, I've had people say 62 years. So old. My son even said to me, Mom, you know, you're not getting any younger. And I said, but I feel it. I feel that. And so I don't feel old. I thought I would. When I was 18, I thought, oh my goodness. I had to write a paper for my English class on what I would be doing in the year 2000. Now, mind you, I graduated in 1974. So, being 18 in 1974, you're thinking, whoa, I'll be in my 40s, life will be over. But it's not. And there's really no limits to anything that you can accomplish at any age or anything. You have to be realistic too, though. You know, I remember a friend of mine saying, I'm going to take that positive attitude you have and I'm going to go become a billionaire. Okay. They tried. They did pretty well. They didn't quite get to the billionaire status or even a millionaire status, but applied a lot of the same principles and came away a much better place for it. So, you know, there's a difference between being positive and believing in yourself and just saying, this is going to happen because I want it to happen. You have to make it happen, and you have to take the steps to make it happen. And all of you guys are here right now because you want to learn to be better speakers, and which gives you a lot of self-esteem, which is a wonderful thing to have. It's really good for you inside to be able to look at your audience and feel comfortable with what you're saying to them. So for me, this was an honor to be asked to be here. I'm on stage all the time in front of thousands and thousands of people. I think the biggest stage I was ever on had 70,000 people. And I remember going out on the stage and looking at the guys and going, I've never been in front of 70,000 people. and our poor mandolin player was like this. And I just looked at him and I said, but we can do it. And not only did we pull it off, but we won that competition. That was in Telluride, Colorado, which is considered the national championship for bluegrass bands. And that wasn't the all-female band, but still. So it was really exciting, and they liked us so much they invited us back the next year. So just goes to show you, you can accomplish whatever you choose to accomplish, but it takes hard work, it takes positive attitude, it takes belief in yourself to make it happen. So with that said, I'm going to kind of bring you fast forward to where I am right now, which is in Astana. And I love Astana. As our intro said, I was born in a suburb of Chicago, which is known in the United States as the Windy City. So coming to Astana was really easy for me because I'm used to the wind. And I also have an organic farm in Massachusetts, which is in the Northeast, which gets quite cold in the wintertime. Not as cold as here, but we get more snow. So I'm kind of liking the fact that I haven't been having to go through 4, 5, 6 feet of snow to get to work, which fortunately is across the street. And I am working for Quality Schools International. I got a little bit weary of touring with bands. It gets a little old living out of a suitcase. And when my children got older and were in school, I cut way back on the amount that I played. Only played on weekends so that I could be with my children during the week because they were the most important things in my life. And when they got older and moved out, I thought, okay. So I decided that, you know what, there's only 2 things I ever wanted to be when I grew up. And one of them was a musician, which I had been doing for a very long time. And the other one was to be a teacher. And I really love working with children. when I worked professionally in music, we would do, what do you call them, like workshops and residencies. I don't know if they have stuff like that here or not. I would imagine probably so. I've done one in one of the schools here, so it's very fun. But what I noticed was that there are a lot of children that have some difficulties concentrating at school, and we even had a teacher that came up to me when we were in the classroom. We took her lesson plan and we used music to teach her curriculum. And she said to me, I have 5 students in this classroom and they're ADHD really, really badly. So if you need me to remove them, you just let me know and I'll take them out. And I'm like, no. So this is an hour and a half we're working with these students. That's a long time for a student that has ADHD to be able to sit still. And when we were finished, her mouth was open like this. What did you do? You need to tell me what you did, because every single one of those children not only had a great time, and I would never ask them to leave anyway, but they were fully engaged. And she said, what did you do? And I said, we made learning fun. and she said, how can I do that? And I said, there's a lot of easy ways that you can bring fun into your classroom without having to forego the important things that you must teach. So that was the moment I said, okay, so the only other thing I wanted to be was a teacher. So I went back and I finished my degree, and I started teaching, and my first job was on the Apache, my first job was in a behavior school. This was a school that was created for students that got kicked out of school for serious bad behavior. So I had to have a lot of training to work there, and you have to really believe that you can make a difference for these children. I remember one of the first questions my new boss asked me before she hired me was, do you feel like you need to save them all? And I looked at her and I said, you know, if I can save one, then I've made a difference, right? And she said, you're hired. Because it's not an easy job. You're working with kids who come from gang-infested homes, parents who are on drugs, very little support, and so negative behavior is all they know. And working with them, you come from a place of love and understanding and a positive attitude. Need I say more? So I worked there for 3 years, and I'm really happy to say the usual success rate, as they call it, would be able to save 1 out of 10 of your students in a year. I had 5. So I was really, really excited and really pumped, and I really enjoyed it. But I do have to say, my first day on the job was a lockdown because we had a gunfight across the street. So when we all came out of the classroom later, the other teachers just looked at me and they said, are you staying? I said, of course. Yes. They thought they were going to run me off that first day. It didn't happen. But that's a positive attitude. That's a belief in yourself that you can make a difference and you can make it happen. Then I went and worked for 2 years on the Apache Indian Reservation, which is also about many struggles. The Apache people have been sorely mistreated. I don't know how much you know about American history, but what you always see in the history books are not necessarily the truth. But they have been horribly mistreated, and there's a lot of alcoholism, and it's time. So on a positive note, I'm going to leave you with what I said in the very beginning of my speech, which was, have a positive attitude, believe in yourself, and be the best you can be. Don't ever compare yourself to others.